Pick a card. Any card. Why do people do what magicians tell them? Just because a magician says pick a card doesn't mean you have to pick a card. Pick a card. That's why. Pick a card. It's because of that. That's a power move. That's authority. So how do we as magicians establish authority? What do we have to do? A lot. Really, I mean a lot. But I'll tell you one of those ways. Clothing.
When it comes to power, clothing is our uniform, right? It's our exoskeleton. It's our initial statement to those around us. And we get to determine, at least in part, what that statement is. I have clothes I like to wear, and you can come up with your own, but my clothes show power. My style shows power. That's what a magician's style should do.
You're a magician. Let's say a spectator walks by and you're like, I'm going to do a magic trick to that person. You go up to him and you say, you want to do a vanishing quarter trick. You go up to him and you say, sir, can I borrow a quarter? Well, how are you going to get the quarter? I can tell you, whether or not you get it is going to depend greatly on what you're wearing. Behind me is Martin's Big and Tall. Here you could buy suits. If you're big or tall, or big or tall, or big and tall. But they have suits here. If you wear a suit, I promise you, you're gonna get that quarter. Suits give the illusion of power. And sometimes that's all you need to have authority. Magicians wear suits all the time. So do car salesmen, Wall Street guys, lawyers. I would say the uniform for a magician is probably a tuxedo and with a top hat. But I think the top hat is quite a display of dominance. I don't think I would show that much dominance.
Welcome to the internet. Welcome to the internet.
So what am I saying? To be a great magician, you need to wear a suit? No, I'm not saying that. I'm not wearing a suit. But you do need to think about authority. You need to possess it. You need to own it. That needs to be like a real thing that you've got. The ability to have authority. Now I'm going to show you a bunch of different methods for how to get authority. Let's take a look. This is Bob. Bob is going to be sort of a stand-in for a spectator. So I'm a magician. This is the person I want to show the illusion to, the spectator, the audience. The first thing you need to know about gaining authority right from the get-go when you're doing magic is approach. Approach is a huge part of doing magic. So this is when you find the person you want to do the trick to, and you approach them, and you begin performing the trick. So this is the magician setting things up before the trick is ever even done. I'm going to show you two examples of approach, one successful and one not, and I'll let you decide which is which. Approach number one. Hello, my name is CHRIS FANELLI. I'm a magician. I'm doing some close-up magic around here. I'd love to show you a magic trick. Let's begin. Approach number two. Hey, sir. Would you mind if I showed you a magic trick? Of those two approaches, which do you think was successful? It's obvious, right? Number one. Number two is weak. I mean, imagine that. You see a magician, he's over here and he's kind of dawdling around, right? There's so much space here. There's room for no. The first example where I really got right up in there, that is how you get an answer. And not only how you get an answer, but that is how you set the stakes up, right? Let's say I want to do something. I want to, put a coin here or something. I can do all that because I'm right in there. So let's see that again. The approach is all about, right, approaching. Eye contact, incredibly important. And then the approach happens. Sir, can I show you a magic trick? And maybe this is a little close, a little bit exaggerated, but you want to have that feeling. You want to have that tension, right? Face to face, okay? The second thing that I'd like to talk about is stance. Stance is incredibly important. Now different spectators will have different stances. Bob here is broad-chested, and he sort of has an angry grimace. Now what you want to do is you don't necessarily want to match it, but you do want to understand the energy that's coming out. So first thing we do is we sort of lay the groundwork. Okay, what's he feeling? What's he thinking? Let that be in your head kind of as a constant underneath everything. Posture is very important. Now you don't want to be your chest puffed up like this, because it's not a game of who's the bigger man. It's really more of just a game of mind control and thinking about entering. So, whenever I do this, I sort of like to get comfortable with myself and lean my head a bit in like this, right? It's a bit leaned in. And as we do tricks, we do them like this. Watch this. I'm going to take this coin. I'm going to go like this, okay? Notice how my shoulder makes shoulder contact. I'm kind of rotating, right? I've developed a sense of rotation here and the way that things work. And that brings us to our next point, which is movement. Movement is, I think, very key in a magician performing. You've got a whole stage, right? I mean, sometimes you literally have a stage. Other times, you've got a sort of theoretical stage, right? Where you can go up, you can show a trick. Now, let me show you something else. Watch this. Right? That sort of thing establishes power. There's an unpredictability there where you're moving around. Now let me show you. Let's say I'm over here, right? And I'm doing tricks. Boom, 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 doing things. And then all of a sudden, okay. I think Bob is trying to out-magician me, is I think what's happening. Which really brings us to a good point. Guys like Bob are the worst. They really are a problem. Because he thinks that with the top hat, with the tuxedo, he's going to gain more authority over me, but I know magic tricks that I know for a fact Bob doesn't know. So there's going to be no authority thing going on here. I have authority over you when it comes to magic. But really, guys like Bob, you just have to avoid them altogether. And that's an important thing. That's more important than any of the other stuff I've already said, is who you choose to show the magic tricks to. Avoid guys like Bob. Okay? Because this is bullshit. This is stupid. I'm not even going to waste my time with this. A guy like Bob is entitled, and he thinks that the world revolves around him, and he's always going to try to one-up you no matter what you do. And, you know, I mean, he'll lie. He'll just make things up. So if he'll be like, oh, no, my card wasn't the 2 of hearts. It was the 3 of spades, when his card was the 2 of hearts. I've dealt with guys like Bob. The mistake is even beginning to choose a guy like Bob to do a magic trick too. So I shouldn't even be showing you this. We're going to get rid of Bob, and I'll be right back. I'm going to fix this. Hold on. This is Bob Jr. This is the kind of person you want to choose to come up from the audience or go up to on the street to show a magic trick to. You're going to have an easier time getting authority here this way. So let's pick up where we left off, which is on, what were we talking about? Movement. So movement would be key, right? I would go up here. I would say, let's do this trick, right? I'd come over here. Maybe I'm grabbing a coin. Maybe I'm pulling something out of my pocket. Maybe I'm, there's an audience member over here. Ma'am, can I please borrow a coin? I'm gonna show this trick over here. Bobby Jr. And I grab.
You have no idea what's coming